Why is French President Macron in such a hurry to visit China for 3 full days? The French love acting elegant, but their economic data is anything but elegant. In 2024, France's GDP grew only 0.7%, while government data has soared to over 110% of GDP. France today is like a runaway sports car, a shiny exterior, but the dashboard is full of warning lights. The problem comes from France's world-class welfare system, which is on the verge of collapse. Public spending is 58% of GDP, the highest in the EU. Low retirement age, high pensions, almost free healthcare. But where does the money come from? Steal rubber from the poor Africa? They don't have much, right? They can't collect enough taxes from the rich, and they are incapable to cut welfare either. After COVID, the government injected hundreds of billions of euros to save the economy, and the deficit completely spiraled out of control, breaking the EU's 3% deficit rule year after year. Even the disliked van der Leyen looks down on France now. The worst part is France wants to reform but can't, ensuring the government proposed cutting public holidays and freezing welfare. What's the result? Nationwide protests. Unions shut the entire country down. The parliament then passed a no-confidence vote, 364 to 194, ousting the most capable prime minister. In 12 months, the French government has collapsed 3 times. There is no structural stability at all. This created a vicious cycle. The more they spend, the poorer they become. The poorer they become, the more they must spend. If rating agencies downgrade France, interest on its debt will explode, and France could repeat the Greek crisis. So why did Macron come to China now? Obviously, to look for medicine. France's manufacturing weaknesses are obvious. High taxes, expensive energy, expensive labor, no efficiency, a 7-hour workday, 5 to 7 weeks of holidays, plus countless public holidays. Even Trump's mockery wasn't entirely wrong. This model simply can't compete with Eastern Europe or China. This time, Macron brought a super delegation of more than 80 business leaders: energy, electricity, environmental tech, transportation equipment, luxury goods, agriculture, dairy, aerospace, basically half of France. France's 2 biggest trump cards both rely on China. Luxury brands rely heavily on Chinese and Asian consumers. Airbus's largest single market is China, accounting for over a quarter of global deliveries, with orders exceeding even the whole Europe's. But the problem is Chinese consumers now care less about luxury goods, and China's domestic large aircraft are emerging. If Macron doesn't seize this moment, France could get wiped out the same way European automakers did by EVs. And more importantly, Macron wants to be Europe's big brother. In today's world, the United States is tightening its camp, China is accelerating, while Europe is breaking into pieces. In the Franco-German engine, Germany has lost power, shutting down nuclear plants, shrinking GDP, deindustrializing, and watching companies flee abroad. Germany can't be relied on anymore, which means France must step up and draw a survival path for Europe. And that path inevitably involves China. Over 40% of Europe's supply chains depend on China. Dependence on Chinese batteries, solar panels, and rare earths exceeds 60%. Without Chinese cooperation, European factories face shutdown risks. So Macron's trip has 3 goals. First, secure orders. Second, attract Chinese investment. Third, create a diplomatic space for Europe between China and the United States. But the problem is Macron is not totally reliable. In the coming years, more Chinese companies may build factories in France, more joint China-France projects may emerge, and more investments could help French employment. Yet Macron may not have the political strength to guarantee these deals. In China, he gets treated like a real president, but once he goes back to France, he might still get slapped by angry French citizens. Follow me on Eastern Perspective to see the world.